YouTube. We back with another video. Today we're watching the worst live TV deaths ever by Simple Paint. I'm gonna subscribe and I'm gonna like the video. Let's get straight into it. Um, so we got the comedian incident, the Phoenix helicopter, the academic interview, the breakfast show, the sci-fi tragedy, the skiing disaster, the Challenger disaster, the superhero wrestler, the reality show, the fall on set, the morning news, and the Cavett show. I think that, yeah, Cavett.
The comedian incident. On April 15th, 1984, Tommy Cooper, a 63-year-old comedian, walked onto the stage at Her Majesty's Theatre in
I
London.
think I heard about
12
this.
million people were watching live from home on ITV. Cooper was Britain's favorite comedian, and he was known as the man who made magic tricks funny by getting them wrong. That evening,
Yeah, I
Cooper
think I
wore
heard
a
of
red
this guy.
cloak as he prepared for his magic act. His assistant, Sandy Lawrence, helped him put on a red cloak. He thanked her. Little did he know that those would be his last words. As
Oh
the show
my
proceeded,
god.
the audience was already laughing. Suddenly, he slumped backward against the curtain. His body twisted. His legs twitched. The audience roared with laughter. They thought it was part of the act. Cooper was famous for physical comedy. This looked like another one of his brilliant gags. But behind the curtains, something was wrong. Cooper wasn't moving on cue. The routine was taking too long. Director Alistair McMillan realized immediately that something terrible had happened. He cut to an unscheduled commercial break, but they had to continue the show. Les Dennis and Dustin G were pushed onto the stage. They performed, while behind the curtains, people desperately tried to save Cooper's life. They
Yo.
tried to revive him, hitting his chest, trying CPR.
Bro,
But
he's
Cooper
just an
wasn't
old
responding.
man.
He was later rushed to
So,
Westminster Hospital
natural
and was pronounced
causes, probably.
dead on arrival from a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Tommy Cooper died to roars of laughter, while 12 million
Damn.
people thought it was just another joke. What many people also don't take seriously are their finances. Money slips away quietly, subscription by subscription, until it this video. The Phoenix helicopter. On July 27, 2007, two news helicopters were covering a police chase in Phoenix, Arizona. The helicopters belonged to KNXV-TV and KTVK.
Okay.
Both stations were broadcasting the pursuit live. It was
Damn.
mid-afternoon, a routine
Two
chase,
news
the kind that
stations
happens
at
frequently in major
once.
cities. The suspect was fleeing in a stolen vehicle. Police were following. The helicopters circled above.
Would the helicopters crash into each other?
Providing aerial coverage. KTVK's helicopter carried pilot Scott Bowerbank and photographer Jim Cox. KNXV-TV's helicopter carried pilot Craig Smith and photographer Rick Krolak. All four were experienced professionals. They'd covered countless chases before. Around 12:46 p.m., the helicopters were over Steele Indian School Park in central Phoenix.
I think
The
they're
chase was
gonna crash
active
into
below.
each other.
Cameras were rolling. Then disaster struck. The helicopters collided in midair. The rotor blades hit each other.
Yep.
Metal tore. The aircraft spun out of
Bro.
control. Viewers watching at home saw
Why
the
would they have
helicopters in
two
flight during the chase
helicopters?
coverage. Then suddenly, both
Oh my
helicopters
god.
plummeted to the ground. They crashed in the
Yo.
park below. One hit near trees. The
Damn.
other crashed nearby. All four men died instantly. The impacts were catastrophic. There were no survivors. Miraculously, nobody on the ground was hurt.
Hmm.
The academic interview.
This is how I became the most productive.
Oh yeah. That's
On
cool,
September
man.
12th, 2018, Professor Rita Jitendra appeared live on Doordarshan's Good Morning
Oh.
J&K, an Indian television news channel. She was there to
I
discuss
shouldn't be
political
laughing.
issues. Jitendra was a prominent academic and political analyst. She frequently appeared on news programs to provide expert commentary. The interview began normally. Jitendra sat in the studio discussing current events with the host. She was articulate, composed, answering questions thoughtfully. Then, mid-sentence, Jitendra stopped talking. Her expression changed. She tossed her head backward and gasped for air. The host immediately realized something was wrong and called for help.
It's just natural
Cameras were still
causes.
rolling. Broadcasting live. Viewers watched as Jitendra struggled to breathe. She collapsed in her
Oh.
chair. Studio staff rushed over and called for
I
medical
shouldn't.
assistance.
Why am I?
Medics arrived quickly and rushed her to a nearby hospital.
It's just
She'd suffered
a
massive
face
cardiac
expression.
arrest, but
Like,
doctors couldn't save her. Rita Jitendra was pronounced dead shortly after arrival.
Damn.
The incident shocked India. A prominent academic had died live on television in the middle of an interview while discussing
Crazy.
ordinary political matters. The breakfast show incident. On November 13th,
Wait.
1986,
I'm not.
24-year-old
Could I-
Michael Lush was rehearsing for
Some
a
people
stunt
could
on
use
the
that as
BBC.
like a conspiracy theory, like, cause she died talking about political matters. Targeted death.
show,
I heard about
hosted
the
by
show.
Noel Edmonds, was famous for its dangerous live challenges performed by members of the public.
Yeah.
Lush had volunteered to perform a stunt called Hang 'em High, which involved bungee jumping from
Oh
a
my.
box suspended about 120 feet above the ground. It was supposed to be spectacular, daring, safe. During the
That
performance,
line ain't long
Lush
enough.
climbed into the metal box. The box was hoisted high into the air by a crane. He was secured to
Not
an
high
elastic
enough.
bungee cord.
That
by a
elastic bungee
carabiner
cord?
clip fastened to an eye bolt inside the box. Crew members stood below, watching.
No.
Cameras were ready. Then came the signal.
No.
The box was released and Michael dropped.
No.
Suddenly, something went wrong. The clip detached from its mounting.
Yep.
The cord failed to stop his fall.
Bruh.
He plunged 120 feet.
Nobody
and
can
struck
catch
the
him? I thought they
ground.
were
The
standing
impact
right
was
there.
catastrophic. He was killed instantly. The accident shocked Britain.
Come on,
The
guys.
death
You
of
could have
Michael
caught
Lush
him.
changed British
I'm
television
sure,
forever.
like, you
It
guys
ended
could have
the
worked
era of
together
live,
and just, like,
unregulated
caught him.
stunts. The sci-fi tragedy. On September 20th, 1996, 27-year-old actor Kenneth Keith Stedman was filming an episode of the science fiction series Sliders near El Mirage Dry Lake, California. The crew was shooting a desert chase scene. Cameras rolled as Stedman drove a dune buggy across the barren expanse. It was a simple setup between takes. Then, out of nowhere, something went terribly wrong. The buggy hit uneven ground.
Oh.
It struck a hidden mound and flipped violently. The vehicle rolled over, throwing Stedman from the seat before crushing him underneath. Crew members screamed for help. Paramedics were called immediately, racing across the desert floor. But by the time they reached him, it was too late. Kenneth Keith Stedman was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The production was halted. The investigation confirmed it was a rollover accident. No explosions or pyrotechnics had occurred, just a tragic miscalculation. His death sent a jolt through Hollywood. It reminded everyone that even the simplest scene could turn fatal in an instant. The skiing disaster. On January 29, 1994, Austrian ski champion Ulrike Meyer stood at the top of the Kandahar downhill course in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany. Cameras were rolling for a live World Cup broadcast. Meyer was a 26-year-old, fearless and focused. She was a two-time Super G champion. That day, she adjusted her goggles. Everywhere fell silent, just as the signal sounded. She pushed off.
Bro.
Her speed built instantly, about 62 miles per hour.
She's so
She sliced
predictable,
through
though.
the course, every movement precise. But as she hit one of the fastest sections, something went wrong. Her ski caught an edge. In a split second, Meyer lost control. Initially, it was believed she struck a timing post.
Whoa!
Investigation
What?
concluded she likely broke her neck upon hitting the
okay.
ground, not
Damn.
from post impact. She then slammed into the safety netting with tremendous force.
Ooh.
The sound was sickening. Rescuers rushed to her side. Medical teams tried to revive her,
She broke her
but
neck.
Ulrike Meyer never regained consciousness. She was pronounced dead shortly after
Crazy.
reaching the hospital in Murnau. The entire crash had unfolded on live television. The world of skiing was shattered.
That's
In the
sad.
aftermath, officials redesigned courses, strengthened safety nets, and implemented stricter standards. But no change could undo what the world had witnessed that day. A champion's final run, broadcast live to millions.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the
Oh
search
my
engine
God.
for conservatives. Let me just tell you
Wow.
what it does.
That's
First
so
of all,
cool.
The Challenger disaster. On January
Yeah, I know about
28,
this.
1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger
It's
was
crazy.
scheduled to launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was the 25th shuttle mission. 7 astronauts were on board. The launch was special because one crew member was Krista McAuliffe, a teacher. She was the first civilian selected to go to space. Schools across America tuned in.
Fucking
Classrooms filled with
sad,
students
bro.
watching live. Everyone was excited, inspired. Space exploration was coming to their classrooms. It was a cold morning. Temperatures had dropped to 36 degrees the night before. Engineers expressed concerns about O-rings in the solid rocket boosters. Cold weather could compromise the seals, but the decision was made to proceed with the launch.
Right.
At 11:38 a.m., the countdown reached
Who
zero.
made that
The
decision,
shuttle's
though?
engines ignited. Flames and smoke billowed. Challenger lifted off. It rose into the clear blue sky. Everything looked perfect. Students cheered in classrooms across the country. It
Boom.
was 73 seconds into the flight. Then, disaster struck. At approximately 11:39 a.m., Challenger exploded. A massive fireball erupted. For a moment, nobody understood what happened. The crowds at Kennedy Space Center stood in stunned silence. On television, commentators fell silent. The camera stayed on the smoke trail. The 7 astronauts were dead. Commander Dick Scobie, pilot Michael J. Smith, mission specialists Judith Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, and Ronald McNair, payload
Like, rest in
specialist
peace,
Gregory
bro.
Jarvis, and teacher Krista McAuliffe. All gone
Rest in
in an
peace.
instant. The spacecraft fell for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, crashing into the Atlantic Ocean at over 200 miles per hour. The investigation revealed the O-rings had failed, just as engineers feared. And like that, a moment of hope turned into a moment of horror that defined a generation. The superhero wrestler. On May
I want to hear
23,
about this one.
1999, wrestler Owen Hart was scheduled to perform at the WWF's Over the Edge pay-per-view event in Kansas City, Missouri. Hart was performing as his alter ego, the Blue Blazer, a superhero character. The entrance was supposed to be spectacular. Hart would be lowered from the rafters on a cable, descend into the ring. The crowd would love it. Hart was 34 years old,
34.
an experienced wrestler, but he'd expressed
Bro.
concerns about the stunt to friends. He didn't like heights. He thought the harness looked unsafe, but it was part of the show, part of the performance. Around 8 p.m., Hart was hoisted into the rafters of Kemper Arena. He was 78 feet above the ring. Over 16,000 people were in attendance. The plan was for Hart to descend partway, then pretend the cable malfunctioned. He was attached to a quick-release harness, the kind used for quick escapes, but it was the wrong equipment for this stunt. The release mechanism was too sensitive. As Hart was being moved into position, something went wrong. The quick-release mechanism triggered accidentally. The harness opened, causing Hart to fall. He plummeted 78 feet and fell straight down into the ring. His chest struck the top rope. Hart tumbled into the ring and lay motionless. The impact was destructive. At first, the crowd thought it was part of the act. Some laughed, others cheered. But EMTs rushed to the ring immediately. They knew this wasn't planned. Hart wasn't moving or breathing. They began CPR. That was when the fans knew that something terrible had happened. The festive atmosphere turned to shocked silence. Hart was placed on a stretcher. He was rushed to Truman Medical Center, but his aorta had been severed. He died from internal bleeding. He was pronounced dead at 8:20 p.m. The reality show. On November 27, 2019, actor and model Godfrey Gao was filming the Chinese reality show Chase Me in Ningbo, Zhejiang Province. The show was a physically demanding competition. Contestants ran, chased each other, and completed
reality
challenges.
shows like this
It was exhausting work.
over there.
They'd been filming since early in the day. Gao was 35 years old, a successful model and actor. He'd appeared in The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. He was in excellent physical shape, athletic, healthy. Around 1 a.m., after hours of filming, Gao was running a segment. He'd been going for hours. The production schedule was grueling. Participants got minimal rest between challenges. Suddenly, Gao slowed down. He put his hand to his head, looked unsteady. Then he collapsed, fell face first onto the floor. Cameras were still rolling. Other contestants rushed over. At first, some thought he was joking, but Gao wasn't moving. He wasn't responding. Production staff called for medical help. They tried to revive him, started CPR, but Gao remained unconscious. An ambulance was called, but it took time to arrive. He was rushed to the hospital, but he'd suffered sudden cardiac arrest. Despite efforts to save him, Gao was pronounced dead at 4 a.m. His death became a catalyst for change, a tragedy that exposed the dark side of reality television production, where the quest for dramatic content could literally cost lives. The fall on set. On June 8, 2019, a 90-year-old legendary Philippine actor Eddie Garcia was filming the television drama Rosang Agamat in Manila. He was a legend in Philippine cinema. For over 7 decades, Garcia had been a fixture on screen. He'd played heroes, villains, soldiers, fathers, more than 600 film and television appearances. The crew admired him. Younger actors looked up to him. Everyone wanted to be around Manoy, as he was fondly called.
I didn't even know he
That
died.
day's scene seemed simple. Just a short walk during an outdoor shoot in Tondo, Manila. Garcia walked into frame. Then suddenly, he stumbled. A cable lay across the ground. It was part of the production's lighting setup, but his foot was caught on it. In that instant, Garcia tripped forward, hit the pavement hard, and went completely still. Crew members
died
rushed
from
over.
a simple
At first,
fall.
They thought it was just a simple fall, but something was wrong. He wasn't moving. The impact had broken his neck, a severe cervical spine fracture between the first and second vertebrae. The paramedics arrived, and he was rushed to the hospital. Early reports claimed he'd had a heart attack, but doctors later confirmed that it was blunt trauma from the fall. Garcia was placed on life support. For 12 days, his family waited by his bedside. Messages poured in from across the country, from actors, politicians, fans, all hoping for a miracle, but it never came. On June 20th, 2019, Eddie Garcia was pronounced dead from the injury.
Your connections to the past are Ancestry.
Join ICE with bonuses up to $50,000
I
and
don't
generous benefits.
care.
Join.ice.gov.
The morning news
For
tragedy.
the
On
unskippable
August
ads.
26, 2015, reporter Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward were doing a
when
routine
was this?
morning 15 from the injury. Allison Parker and camera tragedy. On August 26, 2015, reporter Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward were doing a routine
Adam
morning
Wood.
live broadcast
feel
at
like I've heard
Bridgewater
that na-
Plaza
I've heard
near
that name
Smith Mountain
somewhere.
Lake in Virginia. It was 6:45 a.m. Parker was interviewing Vicky Gardner about local tourism. The camera was live. People were watching at home over their morning coffee. Then suddenly, gunshots rang out.
Whoa.
8 rapid shots in rapid succession. Parker
Damn.
screamed and ran.
8?
The camera shook violently, fell, and the feed cut to black. Back in the studio, anchor Kimberly McBroom looked shocked, confused. She didn't know what had just happened. Neither did viewers. The shooter was Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WBJ reporter who'd been fired from the station 2 years earlier. He'd harbored resentment. That morning, he'd
Yo.
approached the live broadcast with a gun.
Oh my
He shot
God.
Parker first, multiple times. She tried running but collapsed, then turned to Ward and shot him while filming. He also shot Vicky Gardner, who survived her injuries. After the attack, Flanagan fled and posted his own video
Bro.
to social media while driving. Some hours
What?
later, the police caught up with him. He took his own life during the chase. Allison Parker and Adam Ward
Damn.
died at the scene. The Cavett Show. On June 8th,
Alright, this is the
1971,
last one.
the Dick
It's
Cavett Show was filmed
1971.
at ABC Studios in New York
But
City.
yeah, it's called
The
that.
guest list that
Cavett.
day was impressive. Writers, thinkers, celebrities. Among them sat J.Y. Rodale, a 72-year-old publisher and founder of Organic Gardening magazine. He was a pioneer of the organic food movement. Rodale was cheerful,
Peak.
lively, and proud of his work. During his interview, he spoke passionately about health, vitality, and the benefits of natural living. He joked that he would live to be 100. The audience laughed. Cavett smiled. Everything seemed perfectly ordinary. When his segment ended, Rodale stayed on stage as the next guest was introduced. The conversation continued. Cameras kept rolling. Then, without warning, something changed. Rodale leaned back in his chair.
Oh,
His head dropped.
no.
He stopped breathing. For a moment, the audience thought he was joking, maybe a part of the show's dry humor. But Cavett noticed something was wrong. He turned and saw Rodale motionless and eyes closed. At that moment, the laughter faded. Crew members rushed to his side. Medical staff tried to revive him, but J.I. Rodale
Revive
was already
him.
gone. He had suffered a massive heart attack, dying instantly right
From,
there on the
like,
studio
what?
floor. Later, Dick Cavett described it as one of the most unthinkable moments of his career. If
Was
you'd
the
like to see more
question too
stories
hard
like
to
this,
understand?
Make sure to subscribe and feel
Was there
free to
like,
drop
bro, whatever. Ooh, we gonna watch one of these. Next video. I'm gonna watch this one. Watch this one next video. Don't forget to subscribe to this guy. Video. Thank you guys for tuning in to watch this. See you next time. Bye.